Really excited, so let's do some clapping and then some cheering. 1, 2, 3, go. Woo! All right, now keep that energy up, because coming up on stage now, we have Pastor Adam White. Woo!
All right. Thank you for doing what John said. That was awesome. It was really fabulous. Yeah, give it up for John, right? And welcome to Late Night with Liz. I'm really excited to be part of this tonight. I'm one of your hosts. The other host that will be here is Karen Malang. She's down there. Karen, give everybody a wave. Yeah, give Karen a hand. Right, so, what is this? I think that's a fair question, right? So, your Synod planning team thought it would be a great idea to have a sort of Lutheran late night show. Yeah, you're not sure what you're feeling right now. I get that, right? Is that funny? Is that scared? So, we're going to do a Lutheran late night show tonight, and as you may have noticed, it is not late. Right? It's not late. It's late for Lutherans, okay. It's not late. This is not being televised, thank God. And, quite honestly, I expect that this will be canceled before the show is even over. So, we've got all that going for us. But the reality is we're all going to need to pretend tonight, and John warmed you up for that. And I'm going to make a commitment to you. Tonight, I am going to pretend to be funny. And I think this is going to go better for all of us if you also pretend that I'm funny. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm one of those people, I don't ever think pastors' jokes are funny. I don't, When I'm preaching and people laugh, I'm usually just confused. I'm like, no, that was serious biblical interpretation, and they're laughing anyway. But the truth is, when you try to tell a joke and you're preaching sometimes and people laugh, you're always wondering, was that just a pity laugh? Yeah. Was that just the Nebraska nice chuckle going on? Are the people really just having sympathy for you? Oh, that was adorable. The pastor tried to tell a joke. Yeah. Hey, but it's good to be here tonight, right? You excited for Synod Assembly? Wow, it is good to know that if I need you to clap and yell, I can just say Synod Assembly. That's nice. I'm just warning you that may not be the case 2 days from now. Just wanted to put it out there. But this is a great time to be a Lutheran, right? We're remembering the 500th anniversary of the beginning of the Lutheran Reformation this year. That's a big deal. 500 years of Reformation. I mean, who thought we'd make it this long? But really, there's a lot of really exciting things going on right now. I mean, real stuff. Last year, the North American Roman Catholic bishops and the ELCA put together this lovely document called Declaration on the Way. I hope you've read it. And the Lutheran World Federation, alongside the Pontifical Council for Christian Unity, try saying that 5 times fast, they released the document From Conflict to Communion, which talks about the joy and the work that has been done over 50 years of ecumenical dialogue with Roman Catholics and Lutherans, and it lays out how that dialogue has gone, and it gives us hope and prospects for the day that we will share communion together, and that's something you should clap for. And it strikes me that is a way more constructive way at this than the 30 Years' War. So kudos to all those folks. And the reality is, there are things happening here in Nebraska, too, that are really exciting along these lines. I don't know how many of you caught this, but not too long ago, just a little over a month ago, there was actually a joint commemoration of the Reformation service that happened at St. Cecilia's Cathedral in Omaha with the Omaha Diocese. Do you all see the pictures of that online? I want to show you a few of those pictures right now. Can we do that? Here's a picture. I mean, look at Bishop Moss. Doesn't the back of his head look striking? Yeah, it's beautiful, right? right? And I mean, just a beautiful service. Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like I've seen that before. I feel like I've seen that before, don't you? Huh. Well, I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I'm thinking if I'm like a Roman Catholic cathedral and a Lutheran bishop walks up to my front door with a hammer, I'm going like full TSA. You know, I'm gonna put the gloves on, and I'm gonna be checking that dude for nails before I let him in the door. You know, like a full pat down. You gotta wonder, is he like going, what's under your chasuble? What am I gonna find if I reach in here? All kidding aside, you know, I've been told from some reliable sources, this is actually like standard liturgical operating procedure. This was really a respectful thing they did. When a bishop goes to another bishop's church, they use a mallet to knock on the door, and the other bishop receives them and invites them inside. So this is actually a really beautiful expression of the ecumenism that we have right now with the Roman Catholics. Beautiful thing. So, yeah. It's fun to laugh at our tradition, right? It's, you know, but you know, speaking of Lutheran humor, I gotta be honest with you all. I don't get Lutheran humor. I've never gotten what goes down as Lutheran humor. If you do a search online for Lutheran humor, the same kind of stuff always comes up, always. And the truth is, I think I don't get it because I'm a Lutheran convert. You know, I didn't grow up Lutheran, and I came to Lutheranism late in life, and you know, something really incredible and beautiful and just unbelievable happened to me that brought me to convert to Lutheranism. Some Lutherans invited me to church. I'm not even kidding, that happened. Yeah. So when I came into the Lutheran communities, you know, and people were doing jokes, I'd always hear the same stuff. I'd hear about Herr Pastor and, you know, German stoicism and an unwillingness to change, or sit in the front of the sanctuary, and Lutefisk and Lefse and Abel Skeever and Oli and Lena, right? Yeah. But I got to be honest with you, in my experience, like I didn't get this stuff. You know, it wasn't part of my ethnic or cultural background. So I'd hear these jokes and I'd be like, are they speaking a different language? I'm thinking to myself that there's this kind of insider speak that I didn't get, you know? But I came to understand that really that kind of line of humor came from the immigrant communities that founded many of the Lutheran churches, which is a really cool thing. So I decided, you know, that it was okay that I was kind of an outsider in that respect. You see, I actually grew up in an American-Irish home. And we had our own traditions too. You know, on St. Patrick's Day, Mom would always make corned beef and cabbage, which I liked. That was always exciting. You know, on St. Patrick's Day, when everybody was wearing green, I'd look at all my other classmates and be like, wannabe, poser, because I was the genuine article, right? You know, and we had daily practices too. Like my brother and I, we would box every night after dinner. Just the standard Irish stuff, really. So, yeah, you know, I just didn't get those jokes, which really wasn't the end of the world. But I kind of cultivated this idea of being kind of an outsider, you know, being like an Irish Lutheran and being a little bit different than the community that I was a part of. And that was part of my identity, right? But, you know, that was all when I was an Irish American. Have you all heard of Ancestry.com? Any of you seen ads for this? Yeah. Apparently for $99 and like a little bit of spit, they will tell you the people and places that make you who you are. Yeah. For just this little DNA test, they will send back to you your ethnic mix. So my dad called me a couple of months ago and he said, your uncle took one of those tests on Ancestry.com. And he says, everything we've ever told you about your genealogy is wrong. So I'm going, I've spent almost 4 decades, I mean not quite, but almost 4 decades of my life thinking I was an Irish American. And my dad says to me, okay, so do you want to know what you are? I said, sure. He said, you are mostly German. German! Can you believe that? And then adding insult to injury, he says to me, and the second largest part of your ethnic mix is you are Scandinavian. And there's just a wee bit that's Irish. And so I went from kind of being this exotic Lutheran leprechaun to being the most played out of Lutheran stereotypes in a second. I wouldn't exactly call this being born again. I gotta tell you, it was unsettling. When the stories about your identity that you've heard your whole life, when you're told they're no longer true, it makes you wonder, who am I? Where do I come from? What stories and ways of constructing who I am matter for me in the way that I see myself? And I thought a lot about that. And I'll tell you the truth, I had another thought in all this that I feel like I need to share with you tonight. One thought that occurred to me as I was going through this is I began to wonder if a white, German, American male who mistakenly believes they're Irish can feel like an outsider, can feel not included in the way that we do humor in the Lutheran Church, then I really do wonder about the people we're actually alienating. All right, that's enough heavy stuff for tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. Bishop Elizabeth Eaton is here, and she's hilarious. Jonathan Runman is going to play a Casio like you have never heard it played before. We're going to be right back with a lot more. Thanks for being here.
Emmanuel's mission is Christ-centered service to seniors, each other, and the community. We live our mission through Emmanuel Communities, Emmanuel Pathways, Emmanuel Community Foundation, and Emmanuel Vision Foundation. Emmanuel Communities consists of 10 independent living, assisted living, and long-term care communities in Omaha, Papillion, and Lincoln, Nebraska. As a longtime leader in senior housing and services, Emmanuel supports the whole person, strengthening the body and mind while rejuvenating the spirit. Emmanuel Pathways PACE, a program of all-inclusive care for the elderly, offers a complete health plan for eligible individuals. Our comprehensive team of healthcare professionals manages not only the well-being of our participants, but also the connection to the community. Emmanuel Pathways PACE centers are located in Council Bluffs and Des Moines, Iowa, and Omaha, Nebraska. The Emmanuel Community Foundation supports both our residents and staff through the Resident Assistance Fund and the Helping Hands Assistance Fund. The Emmanuel Vision Foundation has the mission to provide financial support to nonprofit charitable 501c3 organizations whose purpose aligns with ours. Meet the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of seniors, respond to needs in community health, and support the ministry of the church. Emmanuel is built on a nearly 130-year legacy of serving seniors.
If you get bored, just look at Jonathan.
Hi, Adam.
Hey, Karen.
I'm German and Scandinavian too, but I always knew.
Yeah. It's been tough.
It's been tough.
Yeah.
That's true. Do you have bulletins at the Lutheran Center on
Yes, ma'am.
Sunday morning? Do you?
Yeah, we do.
You do.
Yeah.
Ever have mistakes in them?
Well, you know, we have college students that do our bulletins.
Do you? Well, then you do have mistakes in them, perhaps.
I'm going to warn you that the college student that does our bulletin is
Yeah.
running the video
Oh,
tonight, so I'm
oh,
admitting nothing.
I take it back. I take it all. I bet they're perfect.
They're perfect every single time. Thank you,
Always.
Shayna.
Always.
Give it up for Shayna.
Exactly. And for all the people who do bulletins and make, wonderful things for us to help us worship.
Right on.
But occasionally there are bulletin bloopers. I thought tonight we would do the top 10 bulletin bloopers.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Number 10. The Sunday night men's Bible study will meet on Saturday this week in the park, unless it rains. In that case, they will go back to their regular Tuesday meeting time. Number 9. The cost for attending the Fasting and Prayer Conference includes meals.
Maybe it's one of those things you have to learn before you can do it,
Yeah. I guess. Number 8. The church office will be closed until opening. It will remain closed after opening. It will reopen Monday. You know these really happen, don't you? You know that. Number 7. It's Drug Awareness Week. Get involved in drugs before your kids do. Number 6. Barbara Schmidt remains hospitalized and needs blood donors for more transfusions. She is also having trouble sleeping and requests tapes of Pastor Jack's sermons.
I think I know Pastor Jack. He sits right over there.
We all know Pastor Jack. 5. Our youth basketball team is back in action Wednesday at 8 p.m. in the gym. Come out and watch us kill Christ the King. Number 4. The class on prophecy has been canceled due to unforeseen circumstances.
I like that one.
Number 3. Please pray, please remember to pray for the many who are sick of our congregation. I sense this isn't pity. Am I right? I think so. Pity laughs is what I meant. Number 2. A new loudspeaker system has been installed in the church. It was given by Gerald Anderson in honor of his wife. Didn't like that one so much, huh? Maybe that should have been 8. Oh, well.
I feel like we all know her too.
And last, number 1. This morning's sermon title, Jesus Walks on Water. This evening's sermon title, Searching for Jesus. With no further ado, let us welcome to the stage our one and only guest besides our bishop, Bishop Eaton. Please come forward. You gotta hug him, don't you think?
In order to be as hospitable as we can to Bishop Eaton, we are inviting Bishop Mossford as well. He has a very important function tonight for Bishop Eaton.
Oh, dear.
As you may or may not know, Bishop Eaton is from the Ohio area.
OH! Yes! Woo!
And she told us she wouldn't do this tonight with the finals going on unless someone was perpetually checking the score of the game one of the NBA Finals. So we thought that Bishop Moss was perfect for that. So he's going to be up. So if you ever need to know what the score is, once the game starts, it has started, you can just ask him. Okay?
Actually, I have a pastor from my former synod texting me that. I mean, I'm sure the bishop could manage this whole task, but just in case, I've got backups.
Sometimes you need some redundancy
Exactly,
with bishops.
yes.
Yeah.
Bishop, we've asked you here this evening because we'd like to get to know you. It's not very often that we're lucky and blessed enough to have the bishop of our,
Well, you know,
the presiding bishop of our church
I'm in fact
here.
Irish.
You are?
And it's been confirmed. We can go back to the old country. And here's Irish diplomacy. It's the ability to tell someone to go to hell so they looks forward to the trip.
You know, I was wondering, are you a Credo Lutheran?
Yeah, on my mother's side, yes. My father was Irish Catholic.
Oh, okay.
Though they never really went. So my grandmother, on my dad's side, she was German Lutheran, and my grandfather, Martin Cornelius Eaton, was Irish Catholic. They got married. They had to sign an agreement to raise the boys Catholic. They never did anything until my grandfather, who had a tavern, my uncle and my dad went to a Methodist church and came home with temperance literature.
Oh, my.
And then my grandfather took an interest in his upbringing. So, yeah. So my dad married a Lutheran girl, was confirmed as an adult. My uncle married a Catholic girl and stayed Catholic. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. I kind of wondered about that. I thought when you told us you're Irish, I thought it could go either way. You know what I mean?
So I'm curious. Were there any kind of Irish things that your family did growing up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the corned beef would start boiling early in the morning,
Yeah.
the cabbage, the whole thing. And then still, for me today, on St. Patrick's Day, which is my second favorite day of the year after Christmas, God help me, I love Easter too. Okay. So we hoist the colors, eat corned beef and cabbage, have some Irish whiskey, read the Magnificat, and sing some rebel songs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you
Excellent.
guys didn't have the boxing?
I don't know. That must have been your German part. No. No.
Yeah, you said you boxed after supper. That's what Irish kids do?
No.
It was
that's
just my family.
That's
I
what
think.
German,
his family
Swedish,
does.
Irish kids do. No, we
That's
did not
what
do
his
that.
Irish family did. Oh, okay. Very
So
good.
my grandfather had a tavern, and Big Fitz was one of their helpers, and so they go to dollar. You could get all the marbles you could in a handful in 10 cents, and Big Fitz would go and bring these handfuls of marbles for my dad and my uncle. And one day my grandfather came to the tavern and said, "Everyone get down! They just shot Big Fitz." So I don't know if it's about the marbles or what, but yeah, we didn't box.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you did have taverns in your...
Heck yeah! Come
Yeah.
on. Katie Luther brewed beer. My dad was a beer wholesaler, so yeah.
Oh, well, of course. Yes, she did. And while we're at it, so I don't forget this announcement, see these things in front of you? Please don't take them tonight.
Oh.
They're going to tell you, they said this to me, I can hardly believe it. They're going to tell you how to use them. I don't know, I didn't think it was going to be that hard.
I'm pretty sure
but
I can
they're
figure
gonna
that
tell
out.
us.
I just
No, I
So-
think it's going through the catechism. It must be. So.
Yeah, because maybe the catechism's got something to
Well,
do
this
with
is what
it. I
Luther
don't
made
know.
his kids go through before they could even eat supper. So time
Wow.
management. Yeah. So okay.
I thought they were going to give us coffee mugs and then they give us these. That's good, I think. So there you
Much
go.
better improvement.
There you go.
Works for coffee. It
You can
depends
drink
on how much
coffee out of
caffeine
it.
you need.
That's true.
I'm
That
checking the
is
score
very
because I
true.
don't
check
think.
the score.
Check
I
the
know,
score.
Bishop. I don't think you're
It's,
keeping
Check
up.
the score.
No. Okay.
I'm sorry, it's 4 to 3
Bishop,
Golden
don't you
State.
trust Bishop?
I'm sorry. Yes, he's my brother, my dear brother. So
Did you get the score?
Yes, I have 4 to 3 Golden State, but my app may be slow.
Oh. We are going to be able to go on even if you know the score and it's not happy, right?
we can do that because I was in Sierra Pacific at the same time last year, and they made me wear a Golden State Warriors jersey.
Oh, see.
Because I am the bishop of everybody, and I got
Yeah.
a rash from the.
I bet you
jersey.
did. I bet
Sorry.
you did. You know, Bishop, several times this evening we've been talking about calling, people being called to ministry. And didn't Tony just do a fabulous job talking about?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was amazing, the way talking about nurturing people into ministry and helping them see their call and calling them. I'm wondering about your call into ministry. Tell us how that all happened for you.
Oh dear.
If it helps, it's 7-6 cabs.
Yes! I was meant to do this. Yes! No, sorry. Okay. So I was, I remember in my 9th grade social studies, no, it was, what did we used to call it? We'd have this class, and Mr. Zinzer said, what do you want to be, when guidance counselor class, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a Lutheran pastor. He said, well, they don't ordain women in your church, so just forget it. Oh, okay. So I also wanted to be a ballerina, play for the Cleveland Symphony, teach history, and be a sailor. So I was trying to work out. I had a very narrow focus on what I was going to do. So no, that was not a possibility. And so then I went to college. I was a music education major, and I'm certified K through 12 in instrumental music. And then my senior year, well, actually, my senior year in high school, my father had his 3rd heart attack and had to have open heart surgery. And in 1973, that was still a very risky operation. Mm-hmm. Now it's like outpatient. Okay, you know, you can even eat while you're having it done. I don't know, whatever. So it's like I wrote all these questions to my home pastor, God love him. You know, why do bad things happen to good people? Where is God and all of this, et cetera? And he let me ask those questions. Mm. But then I went off to college, and as we all know, it's a very bad arrangement that Sunday morning comes after Saturday night when you're in college. This is not good. But we had this great campus pastor. It was a Presbyterian school who was a woman, a lady minister. Ooh. So I wrote her all these questions, and she was so good. She just let me ask those questions. She didn't say, this is what you need to believe. And so a bunch of us got together. We called ourselves the Heretics Group. And for about 2 years, we'd spend every Monday night in her apartment. God love her, because she had to go to work the next day. We were college students. Don't tell my parents I said that. I went every day, I promise. Well, tennis I didn't go to all the time. Okay, right, whatever. And by the end of it, I thought, I'm going to try divinity school, get out of my system, do that. And so I was going to apply to that, and my mother she was distraught. My father just said, Kay, what is she doing? You know, it's not a good thing. Because they'd been through some church fights. They knew what this was like. So I was going to go to Hamma in Wittenberg in Springfield, Ohio. Some of you might know about that. And my mother said, you've been Lutheran all your life. Try something else. I'll pay for the registration. So I applied to some schools and happened to be accepted by Harvard Divinity School. Said yes before they changed their mind. Went there. And you know, at Harvard, it wasn't like, why are you an LCA Lutheran? Because there's still alphabet soups about us. It's like, why do you believe anything at all? I think that Peter Gomes once said that he went to school with this burning ember of faith, which was almost quenched by going to Harvard Divinity School. So there's that. So where are you going to believe? Then why Christianity when are these other possibilities of world religions, which were all representative in our Divinity School? And then why this part of Christianity as opposed to Orthodoxy, Roman Catholicism, or the varieties of Protestant tradition? And then maybe you might talk about Lutherans in ours. So I really had to define what I believe and sort of let go of things that didn't fit anymore. Some of the you're saying about this, some of the cultural things. I don't know if some of you heard about decolonized Lutheranism. You have, okay, these are young Turks, which is probably really politically incorrect. Anyways, these are really excited young people, but they're making the point that if Lutheranism is simply a cultural identity, then we're really missing the point. And that was really something I had to come to grips with at Divinity School. So after a year, I thought, okay, God, you win. I give up. I'll do this. And then I called my bishop. Oh, dear. But he was good about that. So that's how I ended up here.
Excellent. Very good. Great story. All those mentor people who let you ask and let you say and all that. Yeah. That's just amazing. Very good.
No, yeah. There's two of us. It's scary, right?
What's the score, Brian? What's the score?
12-12. 12 all.
I mean, honestly, that's better than any of us thought they'd do.
You can talk to me, Bishop.
Okay, let's get to the conversation.
Okay.
Now, mea culpa, yeah.
Not so sure.
Yeah, I'm still in trouble. I'm still in trouble. I'm curious, what are you excited about this year? It's the 500th anniversary of the beginning of the Reformation. I have to tell you, we had a group of Roman Catholic students that came over, and we watched the joint commemoration in Lund together. And when the Catholics showed up, they were like, hey, when we watch this, are there any like famous Lutherans?
No.
Yeah.
I think Dana Carvey might be Lutheran. We're not sure.
The guy
Think.
that
Maybe
writes the
Amy
travel
Poehler
books,
might be
right?
Lutheran. Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, are there going to be any famous Lutherans?
Rick Steves.
Rick
Rick
Steves?
Steves. J.S. Bach, but oh well.
Well, there's one. Okay.
Yeah.
Bach.
So they ask, are there going to be any famous Lutherans that you know at this joint commemoration? And I look at the students and we're like, no. So we get to watching this, we're just hanging out, and the Lutheran students are asking us all kinds of questions. And then I see your face. And all of the Lutherans in the room are like, we know her!
I've got this picture.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. 'cause
Oh, I remember your face. Like, it's seared into my mind.
not the
from
picture
that
of
day.
me. I'm talking the picture that I was taking of the Pope. I'm telling you right now, baby. We were taking pictures left and oh, that's the car I got to rent. Isn't that sweet?
That's a Jeep Wrangler.
It is.
Yeah.
I got to rent that today. Never mind. That's not the picture I want to show you. So I'm trying to find this. It was great. I mean, I was in this great place, and I got to see the Pope walking with Martin Junge and Bishop Yunnan, and that's my daughter's dog. Never mind. Okay, not so exciting. And that's Costa Rica. Blah. No. That's
So
me.
just out of curiosity, do you travel at all?
From time to time. Doggone it. But I can, like Margaret, one of my friend's hands is in my picture. You can see her, but okay. Yeah,
That's awesome. That's your picture. You were right there.
I'm taking that picture. But Margaret Rose's hand is in my way, blocking Martin Junge. Okay, amongst us closest personal friends, vaulted my personal heartthrob, Martin Junge. Okay, sorry. Don't tell my husband. Okay.
So yeah, the joy of, honestly, it was really great seeing you there because it made us feel connected to the whole thing, and it was really this beautiful experience. What was that like for you, being there and participating in that, and kind of being in that space?
Are you seeing the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Margaret Rose's hand is in the way, but she's a good friend of mine, so that's good. Yeah. And you can see, so Bishop Yunnan is like this tall, which means I'm the same size as the Pope, just to let you know. It was good to... No, but seriously, it was, I mean, Bishop Moss can attest to this, and even you who didn't grow up as a Lutheran, I never in my life ever thought that would happen, ever. And they negotiated it, as you notice, that all three were wearing albs and red stoles. All three, they negotiated that, so all would come in Reformation red for this day.
Wow.
So that was a huge thing. And for me, one of the most poignant parts was they had these little children, these little beautiful cherubs, and they then were at the baptismal font, got the candle, and when we read the 5 ecumenical commitments, they would walk to the front and light those candles. You could see this progression from baptism to the future. And this one little girl in her little gossamer green thing had red Converse on. I just thought that was the best ever. But the hope that signified, and then later we went to Malmo and then signed an agreement between Lutheran World Service from the Lutheran World Federation and Caritas Internationalis, where we're going to work together more intentionally. Because if people are starving, they really don't care if it's Lutheran or Catholic rice or flour. So we're working toward that, and that's made a huge difference. So it was beautiful. I mean, didn't we all grow up thinking? Didn't we spend Reformation Sunday cheering about how we are not Roman Catholic. Do you remember those days? So when I was a synod bishop, I went on a pilgrimage with the Roman Catholic Diocese of Youngstown, so our folks and their folks went together. And this one woman said, well, we always were taught that we couldn't sing Away in a Manger, she was Roman Catholic, because it was written by Martin Luther and he's a bad man. It's like, well, he didn't write it, so you could have been singing it all these years. But then another man said, after we went through the Luther sites and then we went together down to Assisi in the Vatican, he said, no thinking person could deny that the Reformation needed to happen. So that's a progress we're making right now. And we were together at the Churchwide Assembly this last summer. We had the Declaration on the Way to Unity, and we had a couple of hearings about that, and the Catholic respondents and the Lutheran respondents, they had stacks of books, and they were just ready to defend this, thinking that people were just going to beat up on them for saying this. Person after person said, my family's divided.
Yeah.
My family, my wife and I, or my husband and I share everything, but we can't share at the table. We've got to move forward. And that was the spirit. It was a wonderful thing. And we're getting closer.
Getting closer. It's going to happen. In our lifetime, Bishop, in our lifetime?
Well, Bishop Madden, Dennis Madden, who's the auxiliary bishop of Baltimore and was the Catholic co-chair of that group, we gave him a chalice that had been used at Holy Communion and gave that to him. And he raised it and he said, I think one day soon, in the not too distant future, we will all be drinking from the same cup. Bishop Madden's in his late 70s. So, I don't know. It's in God's time. Pray for this current pope because it's not popular what he's doing all across his church. And if you were to ask other members of the Lutheran family in the United States, this is heresy. So, but this is we all are one in Christ. This is the proleptic thing. Oh, sorry. I'm not supposed to use those words. Okay, so when I was first elected, they told me what words I could not use on television interviews.
And proleptic is one of them,
Proleptic,
isn't it?
catechesis, and hermeneutic. I was
Yeah,
not supposed to do those.
okay.
None of those words. Don't use those. And then I was on Morning Joe, which is, I've never seen that show before, and it was just horrifying when I saw a preview of it. And they had to brief me about Miley Cyrus, who was doing that horrible dance with that middle-aged guy,
I have no
with
idea
the
what you're
striped
talking about.
pants on. But the Syrians had gassed their people the first time, and I had to be briefed on both of those. And I just knew they were going to ask me about Syria. I would go, oh, that young lady really needs her father to talk to her. But I didn't, so yeah, proleptic. We're
That
all
was
one.
good.
It comes together. Jonathan's just laughing up here.
It's 20 to 19 Warriors, but
We're hanging tough.
every time you say something inspiring or shake your finger at Miley Cyrus, the Cavs score.
Oh. I'm thinking maybe we should then stop with the finger waving and ask instead, what's one of the funniest things that happened to you as bishop?
Oh, gosh. One of them was today. I got off the plane, looked at my information, and realized I'd left all of the materials for this synod assembly on my kitchen counter. So, I don't know, funniest.
Jeez, you came
So
on
did
like
everybody else. It's not a problem.
They sent them to me electronically, which is also funny because I don't know how to use electronics. I don't know.
Well, maybe that's a hard question. An interesting person you've met because you're bishop?
Wow. Okay, so I was in Shishmaref, Alaska, so Shelley Wickstrom's synod. She's the bishop of Alaska. And this is, there's some Alaskans? Oh my goodness. So we landed in Anchorage, had a fly up to Nome, and then I'd take another plane to Shishmaref. And when I was up there, I met some of the elders. And they're Lutheran on this island. It's the only church, and they're Lutheran on this island because that was the franchise that was given when Alaska was divvied up. And just to talk to some of these people who have remained faithful in spite of huge challenges. So for me, hunting and fishing is kind of fun. All right, that's a good thing. I don't hunt so much. I do have a hunting license and a shotgun because I was trying to get this guy to belong to my church, so I thought if I went hunting with him, I could get him to join. My bishop would not allow the hunting safety course to be continued as continuing education, but he did join, so I tried. But I mean, this is, if they don't have a successful seal hunt or a fishing season or a caribou hunt, they're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And so they were talking about this, and their son had taken an ice, they call them snow machines. Maybe you do that out here too? We call them snowmobiles in Ohio, but snow machines had taken those out in the ice, and the ice was melting earlier and earlier. He fell through the ice and died.
Oh, my.
And they said, that's our hunter and our dear son. So to see the folks at Shishmaref trying to, the incredible faithfulness that they have, to blend their Lutheran Christian understanding also with their traditional understanding of the world. And this might, okay, I'll leave and I'll leave you with the mess to clean up. Our president now has pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords. In Shishmaref, the island is melting into the sea because of climate change. And these people are just trying to hang on there. Plus, all the kids in the high school like LeBron James, so that was really important too. But it's a serious, it's life and death for them.
Yeah.
People fall through the ice when it shouldn't be melting. If the ice doesn't stay where it needs to be, the seal hunt won't happen in the late winter, early spring. And literally their houses, they had to pick them up and move them to an abandoned airport strip on this small island because the rest of it was falling into the sea.
Wow.
But they still said, God is good. And they're not Pollyannas about any of this stuff, but they still say, God is good. That was important for me.
Yeah.
What's the
Well,
score?
let's see, friends.
24-24.
Tell us about your family. You told us about your dad, mom, and your uncles. How about the family that you live with now?
I don't live with them very
Oh, that's right, you don't. The family that you would live if you were living with any family at all.
If I were, yeah,
If you weren't in Sweden and Costa Rica and
Yes,
Alaska
weren't there.
and
and
And you lived
Namibia
in
and Germany
Cleveland.
and Nebraska. So my husband, my dear husband, we've been married it'll be 33 years on the 16th of June.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay, thank you. Conrad's an Episcopal priest, and unlike us, they have an actual pension fund, so they can do 30 years and out. So Conrad's retired now, so yay! So he could take me to the airport, and he actually came with me to Germany, which was really nice when I was there last week. We have 2 grown daughters. Our older daughter, Rebecca, is married to Michael. How many of you have heard about Young Adults in Global Mission? Yes, woo, good for this synod. That's where they met. Best dating service in the church. I'm just saying right now.
Excellent.
So Michael served in South Africa, Becca in Bath, England. They've been married for 5 years. We had dinner with them last night. And our younger daughter, Susanna, still lives in Cleveland. My mother, who just turned 91 in March, is still going strong. She doesn't drive at night anymore. And my brothers and my sister-in-law live in Cleveland,
Great.
too.
How'd you meet Conrad, an Episcopal priest?
I know, go figure. Wow.
Wow.
See, when I was growing up, I thought Episcopalians were sort of like low church Presbyterians.
Low church Presbyterians?
Yeah, no,
Wow.
they're not. I didn't know this.
Okay.
So when I was at Harvard Divinity School, we had a room lottery, and my first year, you get assigned a room, and that's where you're going to go. But then I was really low on the room lottery for HDS, and then you have to cook your own meals there, and I was tired of baked beans and toast. So they had a meal service over at the Episcopal Divinity School, and they were in the consortium so we could all live with each other's dorms, and I knew the dorm proctor. So I moved into the Episcopal Divinity School and went to
Because of
chapel.
food.
Yes, and a
Yes.
better room lottery.
Yeah,
A
okay.
better room lottery. No, I tell you, Thursdays, everything was white. It was like white food. That was it. Fridays, everything was white. We had a pre-Vatican II Samoan cook. She would boil the fish. You could
She
smell
was
it.
probably a Scandinavian
No,
Lutheran.
she was not. She was Samoan.
Oh, okay.
And we fried this fish to death. I had to clean the fryers. Anyways, so the next year, Conrad came along, and he said he saw me, and I thought, this man, God love him, pray for him every day. I was dressed, what was I thinking? I had jeans and rainbow suspenders and a striped blouse. Like, was I a Jesus Christ superstar? Or, what the heck was I dressed like in front of the Coke machine? But he took a shine to me, and here we are.
I'm trying to picture it. Okay.
It was more like Godspell. It was more like Godspell. Okay.
do you ever wear this outfit to synod assemblies?
No.
No.
Nor in front of my husband. God love him. It's like, ooh, whoa.
And
Odd.
he thought, she's attractive, and there you were. Do you have any grandchildren?
No.
I'm sorry. I need a minute. I'm still processing that image. Yeah.
It's really egregious. It's not good. No grandchildren yet. The kids are talking about it, and no, trust me, they know how to, actually bring it about. That's the issue. But so when I was first elected, we didn't expect this to happen. So my husband was still in his call in Ashtabula, Ohio. We have a home there, which the mortgage is paid off. But our son-in-law was going to graduate school in Chicago, and so Becca and Michael were there. And so I lived in their spare bedroom for the first 2 months after I was elected, before my husband could join me.
I
And
see.
I thought, grandchildren? This is not a good arrangement. This is a lot of pressure on my dear son-in-law. Not only his mother-in-law's in the next room, but his presiding bishop. This is really
Perfect.
so.
No grandbabies then.
No,
okay.
but still
Oh.
5 years later, no grandchildren. so,
Okay.
Yeah.
One day soon.
Now, I'm curious, just kind of changing topics. Before you were
Are you
talking
getting
about
bored yet? Do we need to? Oh, okay.
before you were talking about that when you went to college, you were.
What's the score?
Are you getting bored yet?
Cavs just scored, still behind 27-30.
Close.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your questions.
All right.
Let's
Say
get
something
back-
inspiring, quick.
We'll get back to you, and it'll be better.
500 years of Reformation.
Is there like a commercial?
That's all I have. No.
It worked.
okay.
28-30.
Okay. So you were a music education major at the College of Worcester.
And you pronounced it correctly. Thank you. Yes,
Well,
I was.
last time I interviewed you, I shared with you that my mom graduated from the College
That's
of
right.
Worcester.
That's right.
And was actually a senior in the music education program when you were a freshman. But you didn't know her, so it doesn't
No,
matter.
because they didn't talk to us. For sure.
Yeah, well. Moms can be that way sometimes.
Seniors can be that way sometimes.
So I'm curious, like, what did you play? What was your instrument? Because when you do music ed, they make you play lots of things, right?
Well, my major instrument was flute, and then piccolo in the marching band. Oh, there we go. Yay, flutists, good. And then, you do have to learn you take class brass, class percussion, class strings, class woodwinds. And I did really well in class percussion, so I switched to that in marching band because you didn't have to worry about your pads getting wet. And it really is fun to hit animal skins with wooden sticks. So every band I've been in to try to conduct it or organize it, the percussionists are the bane of your existence. And now I understand. They're terrible. So that's what that happened there.
Nice. Now, do you have any Irish instruments that you play?
I do. Yeah.
What do you play?
Penny whistle.
The penny whistle.
Yes.
You play the penny whistle.
Actually, this whistle's more than pennies, but yeah, it's inflation. It's more than that now. So yes, I do.
You know what's really funny? We just happen to have a penny
I
whistle
have
on
a
that desk
penny
over there.
whistle.
What?
Isn't that odd?
Yeah.
Gosh darn. Yeah, you're just
I
sitting
have
at Synod
no idea how that
Assembly, and
happened.
There's a penny whistle.
Just
Isn't
pure
that
luck.
Amazing.
Well, should we have her play for you? You want?
Should we have a commercial first?
A commercial. We're gonna have a commercial first.
I'll tell you what. We're going to be right back with Bishop Liz Eaton playing the penny whistle. So get ready for that. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nebraska Lutheran Campus Ministry, NELCM, is an agency of the Nebraska Synod that facilitates campus ministry programs across Nebraska. Its mission is to invite people in academic settings more deeply into Jesus Christ and the community that bears his name so they can discover and fulfill their vocation as disciples. Ministry programs include worship, Christian faith development, community service and outreach activities, mission trips, congregational involvement, and pastoral care. In the 1940s, Nebraska Lutherans introduced campus ministry at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, which was the second program of this type in the nation. In the 1960s, the residential ministry model expanded to the University of Nebraska-Kearney and Wayne State College. During the past decade, NELCM has established additional programs to serve campuses and communities across the state. Ministry locations include Chadron State College, Chadron, Northeast Community College, Norfolk, Peru State College, Peru, Southeast Community College, Beatrice, University of Nebraska, Kearney, University of Nebraska, Lincoln, University of Nebraska, Omaha, multiple locations including Creighton and UNO, Wayne State College, Wayne, Western Nebraska Community College, Scottsbluff, Gering, in development.
Don't you love when he plays? Isn't it the best? Yeah. You're going to get this all weekend, you know? So during the break, Bishop Moss shared with me that he thinks we're underutilizing him as just a scorekeeper.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he said he wants to play something too. This is pretty exciting. So I was thinking that maybe we could do something and call it like Lutheran Idol, but that's idolatrous. So
They're all idol Lutherans. What are you talking about?
so instead we're going to go with who thinks they can play an instrument. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have Bishop Eaton go first, and she's going to play on the penny whistle. And when she's done playing, if you think that it was amazing penny whistle playing, you need to get loud. You need to clap. You need to cheer. And
If you want to call in this church, you will clap and cheer. Sorry.
I love the Cleveland Cavaliers. I really do. And Karen's going to be our meter back here. After she's done, Bishop Moss is going to play. What's your instrument of choice?
The melodica.
You know, it's funny. I just happen to have one of those here, too.
Yes, I know what that is.
I didn't. The melodica. Yeah. So you ready? Yeah. Bishop Eaton, you're up first.
What are you playing, Bishop?
Well, just see if you can tell.
Okay. Gotcha.
There you go.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Now, I got to be honest, there was something about that song that made me feel kind of self-alienated. It was weird. You ready? Are you gonna sit and play?
You have to blow in that thing, you know.
Like, where do I hold the mic on that thing?
You don't. They
You
use
don't.
these in South Africa to start choirs, actually. It's a major instrument in choir direction in South Africa.
Obviously. So,
Did you spend any time on this when you were doing
Oh,
your...
golly, no. So see, I was supposed to pass, you have to pass a piano proficiency test.
Yeah.
I have no ability to play the piano. So when I was trying to do my test, they knew I was going to divinity school, and the piano faculty said, just stop. You're done. Go to divinity school. We're fine. So, yeah. So, no.
You've already been to divinity school, though, right? So we can't say that to you.
No, you can't.
Whenever you're ready.
It's like a breathalyzer. Go, it's okay. Oh dear. Okay.
I think I'm learning what it's like to be an assistant to the bishop.
Whoa!
Music major, right?
Music education, yes. Can I help you? Breathe from the abdomen, from your diaphragm.
I have a religion degree.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't-
Then you might want to pray.
You're going to have to do this. They made me. You have to do this now.
I've been playing this for like 7, 8 minutes.
God love you, Brian. God love you.
Jesus will.
Jesus loves you.
If no one
And
else.
all of us from Ireland love you too. God love you. Okay, well, yes! Woo-hoo-hoo! Yes! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! Well done. Well done.
I do know one religious song.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, okay.
You got a second song?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is bonus music.
All right. There's no place like Nebraska.
I
Fight
knew it.
song.
I knew it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
all
some
I got.
Cornhusker thing. is it?
That's all you're going to give him for that? Come on, people.
That's
Karen, you were the meter. Who won?
Well, I think that
The
Bishop,
audience, they lived
I think
through all
Bishop
of it. So.
Liz was like at 98, and I think Bishop Brian was at 58.
No, I don't know. The Nebraska thing probably put him over the top.
58.
Yeah, I think the Nebraska thing.
Nebraska, maybe 60, but I think we got to say that's tops. I think
That's
we do
40
have
more
to
than I'd
Give it
have
up for
given.
both of them. Yeah.
And I think we do have to give great big thanks to Bishop who brought, we didn't really
What?
have this here, you know. She actually brought her penny whistle, part of her Irish heritage, and she just came right on board to do that. And even more amazing, Bishop Brian, who
Yes.
plays the melodica since 15 minutes ago. When I asked him, he said yes right away too. So we got to give them both a big cheer for just
There you
coming
go.
on board. Well, I think we are ready for one more commercial before we move into the next segment of our late night.
Sounds good.
Founded in Nebraska in 1913, Mosaic provides disability supports to nearly 3,700 people in 10 states. In Nebraska, Mosaic serves approximately 800 people in more than a dozen communities. Services are tailored to meet individual needs and goals and range from a variety of residential and medical services through job coaching and teaching independent living skills. A recognized leader in personalized services, Mosaic builds partnerships to create community networks of support for people. Mosaic's Rejoicing Spirits ministry offers churches an inclusive model of worship to welcome and affirm people with disabilities. Through international outreach, Mosaic shares expertise to build services and promote change for people with disabilities in other countries. With its Lutheran foundation and heritage, Mosaic is grateful to serve as a ministry of the church.
He's going to be here all weekend. Tell me you're not excited, right? Great stuff. We have another special guest tonight. I brought a couple of students from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln who have been working on putting together what could best be described as biblical improv.
Oh, my.
And this actually comes out of a Bible study that our seminary intern was teaching earlier this year. And so please welcome on stage the UNL Biblical Improv team. Come on up.
Do we need to get out of the way?
Do they have enough room?
Do they need this table or no? Do you need the table?
You don't need the table? You got it? Okay. All right, so the way this is going to go, it's going to be pretty straightforward. I am going to read a fairly obscure biblical text, and I think we'll have Bishop Eaton draw an improvisational game, and then these three are going to listen to the biblical text I read, and they're going to act it out for you, following the rules of the improv game that we give them. Excited?
No, what am I doing? What am I doing?
500 years of Reformation. All right, I've got a couple of games in the hat. We'll see what happens here. I'm going back to Bishop
I
Eaton.
see. Okay.
Now, when you draw one of these out, I want you to read everything it says. It has the rules for them.
Ananias and Sapphira. Ananias and Sapphira. Oh, sorry. It's great stewardship text. Okay. Sorry. News report. Tell the story as if you were reporting the news.
Okay, this is weird. The reading is Acts 5, 1 through 11.
Oh, dear.
Ananias and Sapphira.
There you go.
All right, a reading from the Acts of the Apostles. Did you know that was coming?
No, I didn't.
That is really weird.
Is that your favorite Bible study, Bishop?
No.
But a man named Ananias, with the consent of his wife Sapphira, sold a piece of property. With his wife's knowledge, he kept back some of the proceeds and brought only a part and laid it at the apostles' feet. Ananias, Peter asked, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and to keep back part of the proceeds of the land? While it remained unsold, did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, were not the proceeds at your disposal? How is it that you have contrived this deed in your heart? You did not lie to us, but to God. Now, when Ananias heard these words, he fell down and died. That's not funny.
That's a great, great stewardship text.
And great fear seized all who heard it. The young men came and wrapped his body and then carried him out and buried him. After an interval of about 3 hours, his wife came in, not knowing what had happened. Peter said to her, tell me whether you and your husband sold the land for such and such a price. And he said, yes, that was the price. Then Peter said to her, how is it then you have agreed together to put the Spirit of the Lord to the test? Look, the feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out. Immediately, she fell down at his feet and died. When the young men came in, they found her dead. So they carried her out and buried her beside her husband, and great fear seized the whole church and all who heard these things.
And tonight at 10.
Our top story tonight, Ananias has just sold some property. He's made a fairly large amount of money from it, and we are figuring out, it's coming in right now, what he has done with that money. He has kept some of it for himself. The apostles are not happy. Going live, reporting in the field, Mike Jensen.
Well, it seems like, and Ananias just walked into here, and he's talking to the apostles right now, so this seems strange. They're coming up to him and asking him just how much money he actually made on that land sale. Well, it seems like he made quite a bit of sum there. Wow, that's a lot of money he's saying right there. He's having a lot of deep negotiations, and it seems like the apostles are throwing some accusations. Wow, this is kind of crazy. Well, it seems like maybe he sold it for a little bit more than he was saying. That's the way it happens. Profit, capitalism, it's all working out, folks. This is America, after all. Well, as we see, the apostles are not having any of that, throwing some major shade at Ananias right now. Well, this is not playing out as he planned it. It seems like the Holy Spirit is coming down and has smited him. Well, this taking a turn for the worse. I'll throw it back to you, John, at the studio.
Heavy stuff, dropping dead, dropping like flies. It's just coming in. More breaking news. Ananias' wife has showed up. She doesn't know what happened to Ananias yet. Oh boy. Throwing it back to Mike Jensen with the story.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, wow, thanks, John. We're back here at the scene. It seems like Sapphira has walked in and she does not know what happened to her husband. Well, this is going to be an awkward situation unless someone explains it. Well, it seems like the apostles are throwing out about the same line of questioning that they did for her husband. And, well, it seems like they are throwing the same amount of shade towards her, asking her how much money they made. Quite a bit, I might add. This is America. This is a good capitalist society, and we're making a lot of money here. Well, it seems like she's lied again, just as her husband did, and she fell over dead, dragged out by her feet. This is a big situation, guys. Both people have died.
Ow.
No one's really too upset about this whole thing, and really it's just some land that they sold. Well, I'll throw it back to you, John. This has been an eventful evening at the Apostles' Place.
Woo!
If I could offer a grammatical observation, that the past tense of smite
Is smitten.
is not smited. But as a great preacher from the African American tradition once explained to me, it's smite, smited, done been smote. True story. Excuse me? Act out the story being easily offended at everything the other people say and do.
Man, pretty much been a lot of people in our congregations hearing the Beatitudes after the election. Just saying. Yeah.
The second reading comes from 1 Samuel chapter 24, verses 1 through 7. When Saul returned from following the Philistines, he was told, David is in the wilderness of En-Gedi. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel and went to look for David and his men in the direction of the rocks of the wild goats. He came to the sheepfolds beside the road where there was a cave, and Saul went in to relieve himself. Now, David and his men were sitting in the innermost parts of the cave. The men of David said to him, Here is the day of which the Lord said to you, I will give your enemy into your hand, and you shall do to him as it seems good to you. Then David went, and he stealthily cut off a corner of Saul's cloak. The word is cloak. Afterwards, David was stricken to the heart because he had cut off a corner of Saul's cloak. He said to his men, The Lord forbid that I should go and do this thing to my Lord, the Lord's anointed, to raise my hand against him, for he is the Lord's anointed. So David scolded his men severely and did not permit them to attack Saul. Then Saul got up and left the cave and went on his way.
My chosen men of Israel, I'm a little upset. You're not doing super hot out here. I feel like I need more protection. You're not doing super good. So you need to stand guard out here while I go into this cave and relieve myself.
Excuse me?
Oh.
What is he doing in there?
He told me that we're not doing a good enough job at finding David, So he's just gonna go in there and take his time doing whatever men do in the bathroom.
Well, excuse
I'm a
me.
human being. I'm allowed to go to the bathroom. Excuse me.
In
Not
a
in this
cave?
trip.
Geez, haven't you ever heard of like ecological preservation or anything, man? Come on.
It's a cave.
That's disgusting.
Has modern hygiene not yet come this far? Wait,
It
are
hasn't.
bathrooms
Leave me
invented
alone.
Yet? Bathrooms aren't even invented yet.
I can't believe you'd be so critical of the ancient world. Come on, excuse me. Well, I'm gonna go in here while he's there, and I'm gonna do something about him, because I don't like him.
He deserves it.
And God has given me free reign, so excuse me. But I think I'm gonna go in there and give him a piece of my mind by cutting off some of his shirt. Got you good.
Excuse me. This is my favorite shirt. And you come in while I'm clearly busy with something very important, mind you, and you just cut it.
Well,
Who does
excuse
that?
me. I have heaven ordination in order to cut off your shirt right there. I got permission.
God told you to cut off my shirt. That's something God said. He
Well, he told me
texted
to,
you. It was like,
yeah.
hey, go cut off Saul's shirt. That
It was
sounds like something
FaceTime,
that happened.
But excuse you.
We want to welcome you to the improv group, Bishop Eden. That was amazing. Yeah,
You want me to stand up? Okay, good.
you already did it. We have time for one more? Can we do one more? Yeah. All right.
Alphabet. Enact the story in which each sentence must begin with a subsequent letter of the alphabet, beginning with an audience-suggested letter, for instance, Q, R, or S.
Psalm 119. Go for it.
All right. What letter are we going with? Come on, one at a time.
There were like 9 letters.
I actually heard L first. Is that what you heard?
That's what I heard.
What's the score?
53-45 Warriors.
Oh, brother.
All right, we're going with L.
It's early.
We're going to stay obscure. We're going to go with Daniel chapter 5, verse 1 through 9. This will be interesting. King Belshazzar made a great festival for 1,000 of his lords, and he was drinking wine in the presence of the 1,000. Always a bad idea. Under the influence of the wine, Belshazzar commanded that they bring in the vessels of gold and silver that his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple in Jerusalem, so that the king and his lords, his wives, and his concubines might drink from them. So they brought in the vessels of gold and silver that had been taken out of the temple, the house of God in Jerusalem. And the king and his lords and his wives and his concubines drank from them. They drank the wine and praised the gods of gold and silver, bronze, iron, wood, and stone. And immediately the fingers of a human hand appeared and began writing on the plaster wall of the royal palace next to the lampstand. The king was watching the hand as it wrote. Then the king's face turned pale and his thoughts terrified him. His limbs gave way and his knees knocked together. The king cried aloud to bring in the enchanters, the Chaldeans, and the diviners. And the king said to the wise men of Babylon, whoever can read this writing and tell me its interpretation shall be clothed in purple, have a chain of gold around his neck, and rank third in the kingdom. Did you get all of that?
Yeah.
You think they can do it? Give them a little encouragement.
Our letter was L. L is our letter?
L is your letter.
L is our letter.
See what you got.
Lord, that's some good wine.
Man, this is some awesome party. This is great. I'm so glad we defiled the temple. It's so worth it.
No, I don't know.
Oh, why?
Porcupine.
Quite. Yeah, that's a good observation. I mean, we've been drinking for quite a while.
Really,
so.
I thought so.
Remember when he got like, the key, he got like really drunk, and now he's like calling for all the gold out of the old temple. I feel like this maybe isn't a good idea.
Say, I think since we're at this venture of defiling the temple and using all these vessels, maybe we should like praise some other gods. That'd be pretty cool.
Tell me more.
Underneath it all, I mean, this is really just a rager that we're having.
Verily. What do we do now while this hand is writing on the wall?
X-ray it.
Yes!
Yes. Zut alors.
Zoos have yet to be invented, but that would be a great thing to add to this party.
Absolutely.
But I think it's important that maybe we try to understand what this mysterious hand is doing on the wall.
Christ almighty, I don't know where it came from, but that's a spoopy hand.
Despite all this negative press coverage, I think the hand has some good things to say. We just need to understand it.
Excellent.
For the love of God, can you say more than one word? Gosh!
Heck, this is a crazy situation.
I agree.
Just look at that hand. It's writing away, and none of us can even understand what it's saying.
Okay.
Great. Yeah. Let's give it up for our improv team. Yeah. The best part was still you sliding over. I mean, that was amazing. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to thank you all for coming out tonight and laughing with us and hanging out with Bishop Eaton. I know some of you wanted to know about the game and hanging out with Bishop Moss, our scorekeeper, and hanging out with Karen and I. The last thing we want to do tonight is we want to unleash Jonathan a little bit, let him play something other than a Casio. So, Jonathan's going to share a couple of songs with us. Give it up for Jonathan Runman.
All right, hey. Wow. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jonathan Runman, and I've never played for a Nebraska Synod event before, so hi. And I'm excited to be here, especially because Lutherans in Nebraska have deeply affected my life. My father-in-law is a retired ELCA pastor, and his ministry began here. And so I sent him an email, and I said, his name is Dean Peterson, and I said, can you refresh my memory on your Nebraska history? And he sent me this email, so maybe we can make a little connection. My father-in-law was an intern pastor at Augustana Lutheran in Omaha in the year 1964 to 1965. And then his first call was in a town called Axtell, Bethany Lutheran. Yeah, from 1966 to 1972, where they gave birth to a daughter who became my wife. And so if not for Lutherans in Nebraska, my wife may have never been born, and my life would be changed forever. So I'd like to thank you for providing me my wife. All right, but it's very, very nice to be here, and I think let's do a song we can sing together. And I'm going to teach you my newest song. This is hot off the presses, and I was asked to write this song for an ELCA camp in eastern Pennsylvania called Bear Creek Lutheran Camp. And they are starting their summer, just like your camp here in Nebraska. And how about camp counselors doing improv today? Wasn't that cool? Yeah. Raise your hand if your congregation sends your kids to a Lutheran outdoor ministry center somewhere in Nebraska. Oh, yeah! Great. So here's the deal. This camp in Pennsylvania, they're spending the summer focusing on Romans chapter 12, so my job is to write them a theme song, and this is the song. So I'd like you to sing the chorus with me and do the actions. Let's practice. It's like this: body and mind, body and mind. God is calling us body and mind. Beautiful. That's the chorus. And now, because this is from Romans 12, then there's verses that we're going to echo. So I sing to you, you sing back to me, and at the end of the second verse, we're going to remember that it's from Romans 12. And at that moment, we're all going to clap 12 times, like that. And that will force your brain to remember Romans 12, and then you can go look it up later. All right? So that's how it goes. And how about this sound technician people? Can you crank up my guitar in the monitor? Okay, so let's work on the chorus. Ready? And I'm going to need both hands to play guitar, so you got to do it yourself. It sounds like this. Body and mind, God is calling us, body and mind. Let's try that. Body and mind, God is calling us, body and mind. One more. Body and mind, God is calling us, body and mind. Good job. Okay, here comes the echo. You ready? God gave us bodies and they feel so nice. We present them as a living sacrifice. God gave us minds that can think and learn. Help us to transform and to discern. All right. Body and mind, God is calling us, body and mind. Body and mind, God is calling us, body and mind. Yeah. Do not be conformed to worldly ways. Use your mind and body in a life of praise. When you need some help to remind yourself, open up the Bible to Romans 12. Body and mind, God is calling us, body. One more, let me hear you. All right. Bishop Eaton, can I borrow you for a second? Oh, you guys did a good job. I'm going to borrow Bishop Eaton here for a second because just this week I got an email and I was asked by the ELCA if I would record a little video for the Living Lutheran video series that they are doing online on the website in honor and commemoration of the 500th anniversary of the Reformation. And so the topic that I'm supposed to address in my video is music. And so since I thought we were all together, it would be super fun if you guys and Bishop Eaton could get in with me on my video, okay? So it's going to be awesome. And then, so it'll only take a few seconds, and then I'll do some editing and submit it. And then in a few weeks, we can all track ourselves down at the Living Lutheran website. So that's going to be cool. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do my iPhone camera on reverse here. And I'm going to introduce myself to the camera as if I'm the only one in the room. But then I'm going to pan down, and I'm going to say something like, I get to sing with people like this. And I'm going to pan down, and yeah, I'm going to pan down at you, and then you can all wave. And then I'm going to say, and I get to sing with people like this. And then Bishop Eaton, if you would lean into the frame and give a wave. Is that okay? It'll be super fast. So, but when I do the intro, part of the shtick is that everybody be super quiet. And then when the camera does its move, then it's high drama. Make sense? So let's try it one time and see if it works. Okay, video. I'm going to turn around. Okay, hang on. Hi, I'm Jonathan Runman, and I play music for ELCA congregations and events. And I get to sing with people like this. And I get to sing with people like this. All right. Hey, that was awesome. It's 25 seconds. Now, just to be safe, let's do another one so I have a backup. You guys are beautiful. Same thing. Here we go. Hi, I'm Jonathan Runman, and I get to play music at ELCA congregations and events. And I get to sing with people like this. And with people like this. All right. All right, give yourselves a hand. You made the video. All right, should we do one more tune and then? All right, I'm going to do one more song, and I'm really pleased to be with you for the next few days. We'll do even more hymnal and liturgical adventures throughout the next few days. But since we've been talking about the anniversary of the Reformation, and because we're at a synod assembly where we do the business of the church, I've got a song that's appropriate. And, have you ever noticed that there are no rock and roll songs about church committees? I noticed that, and so I thought, I got to write a song about that. And so since you guys are at the ultimate committee meeting for the next 3 days, I'd like to dedicate this song to all of you. I go out to church now, I'm working my committee for the Lord. Oh yeah, I go out to church now, I'm working my committee for the Lord. I go every second Tuesday night, working my committee for the Lord. Jesus called disciples, working his committee for the Lord. Don't you know that Jesus called disciples, working his committee for the Lord? You know he walked down to the lake shore, working his committee for the Lord. St. Paul hit the road now, working his committee for the Lord. Don't you know that St. Paul hit the road, working his committee for the Lord? He's using voice and pen and paper, working his committee for the Lord. Oh yeah! Luther took his hammer, working his committee for the Lord. Ow! Don't you know that Luther took his hammer, working his committee for the Lord? Yeah, you know he walked up to that front door, working his committee for the Lord. Oh yeah, guitar solo! Mildred goes to church now, working her committee for the Lord. Yeah, don't you know that Mildred goes to church now, working her committee for the Lord? She got her needle and her thread now, working her committee for the Lord. Oh yeah! Here comes the echo, everybody. Are you ready? I'm working my committee. Yeah, I'm working my committee. Don't you know I'm working my committee? That's right, I'm working my committee. Don't you know I'm a working my committee for the Lord.
Jonathan Runman, yeah. All right, that's what we have for you tonight. One more time, I want to give it up for all the people we had here tonight, for Bishop Liz Eaton. For Bishop Brian Scorekeeper Moss. For the Lutheran Center Improv team, if you'd stand up for just one more second. On behalf of my co-host Karen, thanks for coming out. Play us out, sir. Thank you.